Assalamu alaikum. My name is Moaaz Ahmad, and in this video, we are going to talk about how a computer works and what is happening inside the CPU. So first of all, let's talk about what are the basic components of a CPU. So CPU has a total of four major components. A program counter, which you can see right here, it tells us which instruction it is going to receive next. Then we have our instruction decoder, which receives that information right here, and then it decode it to understand the task. Then we have our ALU, which is short for arithmetic logic unit, which performs different operations. And we have our registers, which are our fourth and final component. Registers are basically used for storage. So if I move forward, this is the basic representation of how a computer works. So here we can see that we have our CPU right here. It has the program counter, instruction decoder, arithmetic logic unit, and registers. CPU does not have any memory itself, so a memory is attached with it right here. And these are all the set of instructions that we are going to perform on our memory using CPU. Here we can see the memory details like what is stored on address 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way to 7, as it is the 8-bit memory. We can see here that on 0 address we have a hexadecimal number stored. So here we have our input and output devices. Since our program is now starting, that's why the program counter is saying 0. As the next instruction it is going to process is the address 0. So it will pass that information to our address bus, and address bus will find that address in our memory. So it will go here and understand that on address 0 it is saying 31H, which is a hexadecimal number. So it will pass that information to our instruction decoder right here. Instruction decoder will decode that information and then understand what the task is that CPU is required to perform for this instruction. So our program counter will increase by 1 as the next instruction it is going to process is the instruction at address 1. So you can see here that program counter is now 1, and then it will perform the first instruction that is given to us right here. So here we can see that it wants us to store what is in the 17th address, what is at the 17th location to a register. So now our instruction decoder has understood the information, and here we can see that our first instruction is we want to copy what is stored in 17th location right here to register A. So here we can see that 17th location is passed to the address, and address will read that information from the 17th location as we are going to copy it to our register A. So let's suppose the number 9 is stored here. So it will read that information and then it will write it to register A. Now our program counter is telling us that the next instruction we are going to process is the instruction at address 1. So we will pass that address to the address bus, and then it will go here to the memory and understand that the address 1 has the instruction C4H, which is a hexadecimal number, and it will pass that number to our instruction decoder. Instruction decoder will decode it and understand the task, and meanwhile our program counter will increase by 1 so that it can tell us about the next instruction we are going to process. So here we can see that the second instruction is we want to copy the data from A register to B register. So it will read the information from here and it will write it here. So we can see here that now both A and B registers have the number 9. Now our second instruction is done. So let's move forward to our third instruction. So our program counter will pass that address to address bus, and address bus will grab that information which is 26H, and it will pass it to instruction decoder, and instruction decoder will decode it, and program counter will be increased by 1. So next instruction is at address number 3. Our instruction decoder will understand the task, and we can see here that the task is we want the data from 6th location to be stored in A register. We can see here that in the 6th location we have a number 5H, which is a hexadecimal number again. So we will pass that address here to get the information from the memory, and from the memory it will read that data, and after reading it, it will move that address to our data bus, and from where it will be written to our register A. Our register A now has the number 5. So the next address we are going to target address number 3. So it will pass that address to our address bus, and address bus will grab that information from here, which is 81H, and it will pass that information right here, and it will decode it. Meanwhile, our program counter is increased to 4, and we can see here that the fourth instruction is we want to add the numbers in A and B registers and then store them back to A. Here, arithmetic logic unit is going to be used. So both of these informations will be passed to ALU 5 and 9, and they will be added, and their sum will be provided back to the A register, which is 9 plus 5 is 14, which in hexadecimal is E. So here we have stored capital E in our A register, and we can see that the next instruction it passed to the address bus is address number 4. So from the address 4 it will take the information to our instruction decoder right here, and instruction decoder will decode that information, and it will go here and understand that we want to copy that data from A register to our 7th location right here. So this time, instead of reading the information, it will use the write function from our CPU, since we want to write the information from our CPU to our memory. So E will be passed to the data bus, from where it will be written to 7th location. So that's it from this video. I hope that you now understand how a computer works. Till next time, Allah Hafiz.